Imagine waking up one day in a country that used to be the third largest economy on earth, a place famous for bullet trains, cutting edge technology, and a culture that once commanded respect around the world. Now, picture entire villages completely empty, houses collapsing under weeds, schools permanently closed because there hasn't been a single child born there in 25 years, and the only people left are elderly residents waiting for a care worker who is also elderly and can barely lift them out of bed. This is not some dystopian movie. This is Japan right now, today, in 2025. And the root cause is something so shocking that most people in the West still refuse to talk about it openly. But by the time you reach the end of this video, you are going to understand exactly why millions of men have quietly closed the door on romantic relationships forever, and why that door is locked from the inside with no key. Stay until the very end because I'm going to show you proof that this movement is no longer just Japanese. It is global. It is growing faster every single day. And the people who laughed at these men the loudest are now the ones crying the hardest. If you want more raw, no filter, angry guy content, the moment it drops, smash that like button right now. Share this video with every man you know who needs to hear the truth. Subscribe, and most importantly, click the notification bell and select all so YouTube cannot hide these videos from you. And while you are down there in the description, go click the link to Angry's Crypto Academy, where I personally teach you step by step how to buy, sell, trade, and most importantly, protect your hard earned assets in the crypto space so nobody can ever take what you built ever again. Thousands of men are already inside the academy stacking wealth while the world falls apart around them. So pause this video for 2 seconds, click that link, and join us. And if these videos are waking you up, helping you see reality clearly, and giving you the strength to keep walking your own path, show some love and buy me a Red Bull through the link in the description. Every can keeps the channel growing and keeps the truth coming. Let's begin. Japan is ground zero for what historians are going to look back on as one of the biggest social revolutions in human history, and almost nobody saw it coming. As of the latest surveys in 2024 and 2025, over 60% of Japanese men under the age of 40 now openly identify as herbivore men. That term was coined years ago, but today it simply means men who have zero interest in dating women, zero interest in marriage, and zero interest in physical intimacy with women. We are not talking about a small fringe group. We are talking about the majority of an entire generation of men in the most technologically advanced nation on earth who looked at the deal being offered to them by society, looked at the women in their country, looked at the legal system, looked at the cultural expectations, and quietly said, no, thank you. They walked away and they have never looked back. People love to laugh about Japan's low birth rate, make jokes about robots in anime, but the numbers are terrifying when you actually face them. Japan's fertility rate is now around 1.2 children per woman, one of the lowest ever recorded in human history without war or famine. Entire rural prefectures have zero children enrolled in elementary school. The government literally pays people to move into empty houses because entire towns have turned into ghost villages where the last baby was born in the 1990s. Old people are dying alone because there are not enough young workers to care for them. You now have 75-year-old caregivers trying to lift 90-year-old patients out of bed because there is nobody else. The Japanese government has spent decades throwing money at the problem, offering cash bonuses for babies, free housing, subsidized childcare, and nothing works because the men have already made up their minds. They are done. And here is the part that should make every viewer stop and think very carefully. While all of this has been happening, while society has been quietly collapsing under the weight of an aging population with no young people to replace it, a huge percentage of women in Japan and around the world have responded not with humility, not with self-reflection, but with mockery. They call these men losers, they call them weak, they call them failures. They laugh about how these men must be secretly gay, or addicted to adult animation, or just too scared to talk to women. They post TikToks and tweets celebrating that these men are removing themselves from the dating pool, acting like it is some kind of victory. But behind the laughter, there is panic because deep down, every single one of them knows the truth. When the majority of men in an advanced nation decide that relationships with women are no longer worth it, something fundamental has broken, and it was not the men who broke it. Let me take you back to how we got here, because this did not happen overnight. This was decades in the making. Japanese men were some of the first in the world to experience the full force of modern workplace culture combined with extreme social expectations. They worked insane hours for companies that demanded total loyalty, came home to tiny apartments, and then were told that if they wanted a family, they had to be the perfect provider, the perfect husband, the perfect father, all while the legal system made it crystal clear that one wrong move could cost them everything in family court. At the same time, a growing percentage of Japanese women decided that marriage and children were optional, but financial security from a man was mandatory. They wanted the traditional benefits without any of the traditional responsibilities. And when men started saying, maybe this deal is not fair, they were called lazy, they were called immature, they were told they just needed to man up and work harder. So the men listened. They always listen eventually. That is what men do. We observe, we adapt, we adjust. And Japanese men adjusted by quietly removing themselves from the equation entirely. They kept their salaries, they kept their peace, they bought nicer apartments, traveled, pursued hobbies, spent time with friends, played games, built model kits, collected watches, rode motorcycles on the weekend, ate at restaurants they always wanted to try, and discovered something revolutionary. Life without the constant stress, drama, and financial extraction of a modern relationship was actually peaceful. It was actually enjoyable. For the first time in their lives, many of them woke up without dread about what new demand or argument was waiting for them that day. They discovered that being alone is not the same as being lonely when you have finally made peace with yourself. And here's the part that the mainstream refuses to say out loud. The herbivore movement is not about men being afraid of women. It is about men finally seeing the game for what it is and choosing not to play. These men looked at the divorce statistics, looked at how many of their fathers and older brothers lost their homes, their savings, and access to their own children, looked at the way society cheered when men were destroyed in court, looked at the way women online bragged about taking everything a man worked for, and they made a calculation. The risk is infinite. The reward is temporary at best, and the entire system is designed to punish them no matter what they do. So they opted out completely, peacefully, permanently. Now, I want you to hold that thought, because what started in Japan 20 years ago is no longer contained to Japan. It is spreading everywhere. The United States, the United Kingdom, South Korea, Germany, Australia, Canada, you name the country, and the same pattern is emerging. Young men are dating less, marrying less, having less physical intimacy, and reporting higher levels of life satisfaction than the generations before them who followed the script. Surveys in America now show that over 60% of men under 30 are single, compared to only 30% of women in the same age group. That gap is historic. It has never existed before at this scale. And the response from many women and from mainstream media has been exactly the same as Japan: mockery, shaming, accusations of entitlement, anything except looking in the mirror and asking the one question nobody wants to ask. Why would millions of men across dozens of cultures all suddenly decide at the same time that relationships with women are no longer worth the cost? The answer is simple, and it is the same answer Japanese men discovered years ago. Men have finally started listening to what women have been saying and doing for the last 50 years, and they have taken it seriously. Women said they did not need men, so men believed them. Women said men were toxic for displaying natural masculine traits, so men stopped displaying them around women. Women weaponized the court system to extract wealth from men during breakups, so men stopped committing. Women created social media groups to warn each other about men and destroy reputations on a whim, so men stopped approaching. Women demanded expensive dates with no reciprocity. Hey guys, in a world pushing you to own nothing and be happy, crypto is your key to survival. Join Angry's Crypto Academy to master buying, selling, and trading crypto. Make huge profits and safeguard your wealth. Plus, discover the one crypto virtually no one is talking about, poised to create new millionaires in the upcoming bull run. The link is in the description of the video below. Go check it out now. So men stopped asking women out to dinner. Women celebrated being independent and building their own table. So men said, "Great, enjoy your table. We will be over here enjoying our peace." And now the consequences are here. Women in their late 20s and 30s are posting videos with millions of views asking where all the good men went. They are confused because the same men they ignored or mocked in their early 20s are now making six figures, own their own homes, travel the world, and have zero interest in dating apps or marriage. These men are not crying in their basements. They are at the gym, at car meets, at fight nights, at steakhouses with their friends, living better than most married men ever did. And when women realize these men are completely uninterested, the reaction is almost always anger first, then bargaining, then panic. We told you this day was coming. High value men like Kevin Samuels warned everybody years ago. He told women that winter was coming, that the party was almost over, that the same behavior that worked when you were 22 was not going to work at 32 or 42. And people laughed at him. They called him every name in the book. But everything he predicted is happening right now in real time. The men who listened to him are thriving. The women who mocked him are making TikTok videos asking why nobody wants to date them anymore, even though they have master's degrees and good jobs. The math is not adding up for them because they never understood that men were never rejecting women as people. Men were rejecting the deal being offered. And that is the part nobody wants to say out loud. Men are not walking away because they hate women. Men are walking away because they finally love themselves enough to protect their peace, their money, their time, and their future from a system that has proven over and over again that it will punish them for participating. Men have realized that the juice is no longer worth the squeeze. And once a man internalizes that truth, there is no speech, no amount of shaming, no amount of begging that will ever bring him back to the plantation. Japan was just a preview. The rest of the world is now living the movie in real time. The tide has turned, brothers, and it turned so quietly that most people never even heard the wave coming until it was already washing over everything they thought was permanent. Let me paint you a picture that is happening right now in every major city across the Western world. A man in his early 30s wakes up in an apartment he owns outright. No mortgage because he never split his income with anyone else. He rolls out of bed, hits the gym before the sun comes up, comes home, showers, makes a high protein breakfast, and heads to a job where he is respected and well paid. After work, he meets his boys at a rooftop bar or a cigar lounge or a private poker game. They talk about cars, watches, crypto gains, travel plans, and the latest fight. Nobody is complaining about child support. Nobody is stressing about what mood his wife came home in. Nobody is checking his phone every 5 minutes to see if he is in trouble for something he does not even understand. He goes home at midnight, sleeps like a king in a bed that is all his, wakes up the next day and does it again. That is not a fantasy. That is the daily reality for millions of men who made the decision to walk away. And every single month, that number grows larger. Meanwhile, across town, a woman the same age opens her phone to another day of dating app disappointment. She has a good job, nice clothes, a decent apartment, but the matches are either married men looking for something on the side, unemployed guys who want her to pay for everything, or the rare high value man who talks to her for 3 days and then disappears forever. She posts another video asking where all the good men went. She tells her friends that men are trash, that they are scared of strong women, that they only want Instagram models. Her friends all nod and agree because they are seeing the exact same thing. None of them ever say the quiet part out loud. The good men did not disappear. They simply stopped participating in a game that punishes them for winning. This is not theory. This is observable reality playing out in real time. In 2025, the dating app companies themselves are sounding the alarm because their internal data shows the majority of male users under 35 have either deleted their accounts completely or log in once a month out of curiosity and then leave again. The apps are becoming digital ghost towns for anyone looking for a serious relationship because the men figured out that swiping right is the fastest way to invite chaos, financial risk, and emotional stress into a life they worked hard to make peaceful. The same apps that women still use every single day, hoping the algorithm finally sends them a 6 foot plus millionaire who is also kind and funny and loves dogs. The algorithm is not broken. The incentive structure is. Let me break down exactly how we got here, step by step, so nobody can ever say they did not see it coming. First, society spent 50 years telling men they were the problem. Every movie, every TV show, every university course, every viral tweet told men that their natural instincts were toxic, that their desire to lead was oppressive, that their need for respect was fragile ego, that their sexuality was dangerous unless heavily controlled and permissioned in writing. Men were told to sit down, shut up, and apologize for existing. And men, being the adaptable creatures we are, started doing exactly that. We lowered our voices. We second guessed every compliment. We stopped approaching in public. We let women speak first. We did everything we were told would make us better partners. Second, the legal system doubled down. Family courts became wealth transfer machines where a man could lose his children, his home, his savings, and half his future income simply because his wife decided she was no longer happy. And society cheered. Talk shows celebrated women who cleaned men out. Songs were written about it. The message was crystal clear. Commit to a woman at your own peril because the state has her back and you are on your own. Men watched their fathers, their uncles, their older brothers, their coworkers get destroyed and made a mental note, risk assessed, not worth it. Third, the culture rewarded the worst female behavior imaginable. Social media gave every woman a megaphone to broadcast her worst impulses to millions of people. Monkey branching became content. Gold digging became girl boss energy. Using men for meals and attention became a flex. Destroying a man's reputation with one viral video became power. And the entire internet applauded. Men watched all of it in real time. We saw the same women who screamed, "My body, my choice," turn around and demand that men pay for dates, pay for trips, pay for everything while offering nothing but conditional access to attention. We saw the hypocrisy. We saw the double standards. We saw the entitlement. And we made another mental note. Fourth, the economy made everything worse. Two incomes are now required for what one income used to provide, but women were still told they deserve a man who earns more than they do, who is taller, who is fitter, who is funnier, who checks every box while they bring debt, demands, and an attitude to the table. Men looked at the math and realized they would have to work 70 hours a week just to afford a life that would make a woman consider staying with them for a few years before potentially taking half of everything anyway. The return on investment went negative, hard negative. And so men did what men have always done when the environment becomes hostile. We adapted, we observed the patterns, we trusted our eyes instead of the words coming out of people's mouths, and we quietly exited stage left. The result? A generation of men who are calmer, richer, healthier, and happier than any generation of men in recorded history who actually followed the old script. Men who own their time, men who sleep 8 hours a night, Men who have disposable income for the first time in their lives, men who travel whenever they want, men who build businesses, lift heavier, eat better, dress sharper, and laugh louder because nobody is at home draining their energy and their bank account with endless drama and demands. And the craziest part, the same society that spent decades telling men they were not needed is now in full blown panic mode because it turns out men were holding everything together the whole time. Roads do not pave themselves, power grids do not maintain themselves, food does not magically appear in grocery stores. Innovation does not happen without men who have the time, energy, and motivation to build. When enough men decide that their excess productivity is better spent on themselves and their brothers instead of subsidizing a system that hates them, everything starts to creak. And it is creaking right now. Look at Japan again for the future preview. Diaper companies are now making more adult diapers than baby diapers because the population is aging out with no replacement. Construction companies cannot find young workers. The military cannot meet recruitment goals. Entire industries are shrinking because there are not enough men entering the workforce with the same motivation previous generations had. And still, you will find women on Japanese social media laughing about herbivore men, calling them grass eaters, saying they are glad those losers removed themselves from the gene pool. They have no idea that the joke is on them because in 20 years, those same women will be elderly, alone, with no children, no family, no community, and nobody to change their own adult diapers when the time comes. That is not anger talking. That is simple math. And the West is maybe 10 or 15 years behind Japan on the timeline, but we are on the exact same path. Birth rates in America are now below replacement level in almost every state. Europe is the same. South Korea just recorded the lowest fertility rate ever measured in human history at 0.72 children per woman. That is not a population decline. That is a population collapse. And every single one of those countries has the same thing in common. A growing percentage of men who looked at the deal, looked at the risks, looked at the way they would be treated, and said, no thanks, I'll keep my peace. This is the part where people usually start screaming about incels and bitterness and how men just need to lower their standards. Save it. The men walking away today are not the losers of 20 years ago who could not get a date if their lives depended on it. The men walking away today are the prize. They are the top 20% who realized they do not have to settle for the bottom 80% of behavior. They are the men women used to fight over who now cannot be bothered to fight for women at all. They are not crying in support groups. They are laughing on yachts, at fight events, in private gyms, and in cigar lounges while the world burns around them. And the panic is only beginning. You can already see it on social media every single day. Women making video after video with millions of views saying things like, dating is impossible now. All the good men are taken. Men won't even approach anymore. I make six figures and still can't find a husband. They are confused because they were told their whole lives that being a strong, independent woman would make men line up around the block. Instead, the men lined up and then quietly walked away when they realized the strength and independence came with a side of entitlement, chaos, and zero accountability. The cope is getting louder because the reality is getting heavier. First, it was men are intimidated by my success. Then it was men are broke and lazy. Now it is men only want to pump and dump. Tomorrow it will be something else. The excuses change, but the outcome stays the same. The men are not coming back. You cannot shame a man into a burning building. You cannot negotiate with a man who has already found peace on the other side of the river. You cannot threaten a man with loneliness when he already prefers his own company to yours. That is the red pill that most people still refuse to swallow. This is not a phase. This is not a tantrum. This is not something that will fix itself when the economy gets better or when men grow up or when women decide to be nicer. This is a permanent shift in male incentives that once flipped does not flip back. Once a man has tasted true peace, once he has felt what it is like to keep 100% of his time, his money, and his energy, there is no offer a woman can make that will ever compete with that. No amount of beauty, no amount of affection, no amount of promise of future children will ever outweigh the certainty of present peace. Japan proved it. South Korea is proving it right now. The West is next. And the most beautiful part, the men are not angry anymore. That is what people still do not understand. The rage phase was 20 years ago. Today's men are calm. Today's men are content. Today's men are thriving. The anger has been replaced by indifference. And indifference is the one thing no amount of shaming, no amount of legislation, no amount of social pressure can ever cure. The game is over. The score is final. The men have left the field and they took the ball with them. The silence is what gets them now. That is the part nobody saw coming 20 years ago when all the noise was about how men needed to talk more, share more, open up more, cry more, be vulnerable more. They told men to stop bottling everything up, to stop being stoic, to stop handling things on their own. So men tried it for a while. They went to therapy. They joined men's groups. They posted their feelings online. They told women exactly what they needed and exactly how they felt. And almost without exception, the moment a man showed the smallest crack of vulnerability, it was weaponized against him. His words were screenshotted and laughed about in group chats. His pain became content. His honesty became proof that he was weak, broken, or worse, manipulative. So men did what men always do when the environment punishes honesty. They stopped talking, not just to women, to everyone. They went quiet. And that quiet is now deafening. Walk into any high end gym at 6 in the morning in 2025 and you will see it. 20, 30, 40 men in there, headphones on, lifting heavy, nodding at each other, maybe a quick fist bump, zero drama, zero gossip, zero emotional vomiting. They are not there to perform for women. Most of them are not even on social media anymore. They show up, they train, they leave, they go build their day. Same thing at Brazilian Jiu Jitsu academies, at boxing gyms, at motorcycle clubs, at private poker rooms, at gun ranges. Men have quietly rebuilt male spaces that are invitation only, cash only, phone off, no women allowed spaces where the only currency is competence and respect. Women spent years demanding men let them into every male space that ever existed. And the moment men finally built new ones from scratch, women lost their minds because they were not invited. But here's the thing, these new spaces are not built on hate, they are built on peace. Men finally have places where nobody is keeping score of who said what, where nobody is recording covertly, where nobody is looking for a viral moment. Just men being men, doing what men have always done when left alone, building, training, laughing, competing, protecting each other. And women feel that absence like a physical pain now. They walk past those gyms, those cigar lounges, those private rooftops, and they know something is happening behind those doors that they will never be part of again. They post videos asking why men don't want to hang out in mixed groups anymore, why men don't want to be friends with women anymore, why men don't want to mentor women at work anymore. The answer is staring them in the face, but they still cannot say it out loud. Men finally took the advice. Women spent 50 years screaming at them. Women said, "We don't need you." And men heard, "Then we will stop offering." Women said, "Your male spaces are toxic." Men heard, "Fine, we will build new ones you'll never see." Women said, "Stop looking at us. Stop talking to us. Stop bothering us." Men heard, "Message received. We are gone." The coping mechanisms are evolving in real time. First, it was denial. These men are just losers who can't get laid. Then it was anger at how dare they abandon society. Then it was bargaining. Okay, fine. We will lower our standards if men just come back. Now we are deep into stage 4, depression. You can see it in the videos. The fake smiles are gone. The "I'm a boss, babe, and I don't need a man" energy has been replaced by shaky voices and tears. Women in their mid 30s making confession style videos saying they regret everything, that they focused on career too long. that they listen to the wrong people, that they wish they could go back and choose differently. And the comments underneath those videos are brutal because other women attack them for admitting weakness, while men simply scroll past without typing a single word because men no longer care. That is the final stage nobody prepared women for: indifference. You cannot negotiate with indifference. You cannot shame indifference. You cannot legislate indifference away. Hard times are here. Jobs are disappearing fast. And if you lose yours, you could be homeless in a few months or even a few weeks. But it doesn't have to be that way. Check out Angry's Creator Academy and learn how to build your own online business using YouTube to grow it. And get the free creator blueprint when you sign up. The link's in description below. Go check it out now. Once a man has spent 2 or 3 years living for himself, waking up every day with zero obligations to anyone else, keeping 100% of his income, spending his weekends exactly how he wants, traveling on his own terms, eating what he wants, training when he wants, sleeping 8 hours a night without someone next to him stealing the covers and the peace. There is no offer on earth that beats that. Beauty fades. Youth fades. Even the promise of children loses its power when a man realizes he would rather be child free and sane than a father who only sees his kids 4 days a month while paying for a lifestyle he is not allowed to live. And the numbers keep getting worse for women every single quarter. Dating apps now openly admit in their shareholder reports that male engagement is collapsing. Hinge, Bumble, Tinder, all of them are watching their most valuable users, high earning men aged 25 to 45, delete their accounts permanently. The apps are trying everything: verified income badges, height filters, education filters, everything designed to lure high value men back in. But the men are not coming back because they already found something better than an app. They found real life. They found brotherhood. They found purpose that does not revolve around female approval. Look at what men are building right now while the dating market burns. Private men's networks that you can only join by referral. Crypto funds that are invite only. Real estate masterminds that meet in person, cash only, no recording. Fitness compounds in Texas, Florida, and Eastern Europe where men live, train, and work together for months at a time. Off grid retreats in the mountains where men spend a week hunting, fishing, lifting, and talking around a fire with zero cell service. These are not fringe cults. These are mainstream responses to a world that told men they were no longer welcome in the old structures. So men built new ones. And the best part, these new structures are anti fragile. The more the outside world screams about how toxic they are, the stronger they become. The more articles are written about how men need to be fixed, the more men join. The more women demand access, the tighter the doors close. Men have finally learned the lesson women taught them. Your peace is non negotiable, and anyone who threatens it does not get to be in your life. Period. Meanwhile, the mainstream media is still trying to figure out what to call this. They went from incel to MGTOW to men going their own way to the male loneliness epidemic to quiet quitting relationships. They keep changing the label because none of them capture what is actually happening. This is not loneliness. This is liberation. This is not quitting. This is winning. This is millions of men across every continent on earth simultaneously realizing that the greatest flex is not a Rolex or a Lamborghini or a 10 out of 10 wife on your arm. The greatest flex is waking up every single day owning 100% of your time, your money, your energy, and your future with zero apologies. And women are starting to feel the cold, not just emotionally, literally. In South Korea right now, young women are protesting in the streets because the government is talking about bringing back mandatory military service for men only. And women are terrified that if men have to serve 2 years in the army with zero dating options, they will come out the other side even more committed to staying single. They are right to be scared. Israeli men have mandatory service and then reserves until 40. And Israel has one of the fastest growing single male populations in the developed world, despite having a culture that still values family. When men are forced to bond with other men, live with other men, train with other men, and see what real brotherhood looks like, coming back to the modern dating market feels like volunteering to go back to prison. The winter is here and it is not seasonal, it is permanent. Every day, another influencer who spent years telling men they were trash posts a tearful video saying she is quitting social media because dating is too hard. Every day, another dating coach who built her brand on female empowerment quietly changes her content to how to get him to commit because the old message stopped selling. Every day, another article comes out with a headline like The End of Men or Where Have All the Good Men Gone? And the answer is always the same. We are right here. We never left. We just stopped participating in your system. We are at the gym. We are in the dojo. We are on the motorcycle trip through the Alps. We are at the private dinner with 12 other men who all make seven figures. We are on the beach in Thailand training Muay Thai for 3 months. We are in the crypto Discord closing $1 million deals. We are exactly where we want to be, living exactly how we want to live. And the price of admission for anyone else to join us is very simple: respect our peace or stay on the other side of the door. That door is closed, the key has been thrown away. And every single day, more men are walking through it to the other side where the air is clean, the money stays in their pocket, and nobody wakes them up at 3 a.m. arguing about something that happened on Instagram. This is not the end of men. This is the beginning of men. I want you to picture something very specific. Imagine a 35-year-old man in 2015. Good job, decent looks, solid friend group, maybe a little shy, but nothing crazy. He meets a girl at work. They date for 2 years. He does everything right: pays for every date, meets her family, listens to her problems, supports her career, plans the proposal, spends 20 grand on a ring because that is what he was told real men do. Wedding happens. 200 guests. Another 60 grand gone. First year of marriage is okay. Second year, she starts picking fights over nothing. Third year, she is on her phone nonstop, posting cryptic quotes, going out with the girls 3 nights a week. Fourth year, she sits him down and says she is not happy, that she loves him but is not in love with him, that she needs to find herself. Files the papers the next week, takes the house. He put the down payment on, takes the dog he raised from a puppy, takes half his retirement, takes primary custody because the judge likes mothers more than fathers, and gets lifetime alimony because in that state, 10 years is the magic number. He moves into a one-bedroom apartment, sees his kids every other weekend, and pays 70% of his take-home income to a woman who now posts gym thirst traps with the caption, "Living my best life." That story is not rare. That story is the default setting for millions of men who followed the script exactly the way society told them to. Now, fast forward to 2025. That same man, if he could go back in time and talk to his 25-year-old self, would say 4 words: do not do it. Do not date her. Do not marry her. Do not have children with her. Do not sign anything. Keep your money. Keep your peace. Keep your future. And that conversation is happening in real life right now, every single day, in text threads, in private discords, in barbershops, in gyms, in WhatsApp groups, in comments sections men think women cannot see. Older men who got destroyed are pulling younger men aside and telling them the unfiltered truth with receipts, screenshots of text messages, bank statements showing payments 10 years after divorce, photos of kids they only see 4 days a month. And the young men are listening. They are not arguing. They are not coping. They are nodding, closing the dating apps, deleting Instagram, and locking in on themselves. That is the real red pill pipeline in 2025. It is not some angry teenager in a basement. It is a 35-year-old man with a six-figure job, a 750 credit score, and a paid-off truck who watched his best friend lose everything and decided the juice is not worth the squeeze. Multiply that story by 10 million, and you have the silent revolution happening right under everyone's nose. And here is where it gets brutal for anyone still in denial. The men who are walking away today are not the bottom of the barrel, they are the top. They are the men women used to screenshot and send to their group chats saying, "Marry this man yesterday. 6 feet or taller, six-figure income or on the way, can fight or at least lift, passport full of stamps, credit pristine, no kids, no debt, no drama." These are the men who realized that being desired by women is the most expensive trap on earth. So they remove themselves from the market completely. And because they are the top 20%, their absence collapses the entire dating economy for everyone else. Average women now have to compete for the bottom 80% of men who never had a chance before. And those men are looking at the deal and saying, why would I settle for someone who ignored me when I was broke and only wants me now because the guys she really wanted are gone forever? That is the death spiral nobody wants to name out loud. The high value men opt out. The women who used to have endless options now have to lower their standards dramatically. The men they ignored in their 20s suddenly have all the leverage in their 30s. And instead of playing the game with resentment, those men are looking at the new reality and saying, pass. They would rather stay single than become a consolation prize for a woman who spent her prime years chasing men who are now permanently unavailable. The math is merciless. Women spent the 2010s telling men, you need to be top tier or you don't deserve me. Men spent the 2020s becoming top tier and then deciding no woman deserves them. Full circle. And the panic content is everywhere now. You cannot scroll for 10 minutes without seeing another video titled, Why Men Won't Commit Anymore, or The Dating Market is Broken, or I'm 29 and successful and no one wants me. The comments under those videos used to be thirsty men begging for a chance. Now, the top comments are either other women coping or men calmly typing, build your own table then, and enjoy the peace you demanded. The energy has flipped completely. The men are no longer negotiating. They are not angry. They are not begging. They are not even watching anymore. They liked the video, dropped a comment, and went back to their day. That is power, real power. The power to walk away and never look back. The power to know that your absence causes more pain than your presence ever could. The power to wake up every single day knowing nobody can take what you built because nobody has access to you anymore. And the Cope Factory is working overtime trying to spin this as a male problem. Articles about the male loneliness epidemic, while completely ignoring that single men report higher life satisfaction than married men for the first time ever. Studies claiming men are depressed while men are posting gym PRs, crypto gains, and travel photos with their brothers looking happier than ever. Podcasts inviting therapists to explain why men are broken while men are quietly building parallel societies that run better than the mainstream one ever did. The narrative is collapsing in real time because reality no longer matches the script. The script said if women become strong and independent, men would chase harder. Reality says the stronger and more independent women became, the faster men walked away. The script said if men just worked on themselves, women would reward them. Reality says men worked on themselves and then kept the rewards for themselves. The script said marriage and family are the ultimate male achievement. Reality says single men in their 30s and 40s are now the happiest demographic on earth. Every pillar is crumbling. And the best part, this is still the early innings. We are maybe 15% of the way into the full migration. Most men are still plugged in. Most men are still simping. Most men are still one "hey big head" text away from throwing away years of progress. But that percentage is shrinking every single day. Every time another man watches his boy get destroyed in divorce court, another 10 men opt out. Every time another woman posts a video bragging about how she does not cook or clean but expects a six-figure man, another 100 men delete their dating apps. Every time another false accusation goes viral and a man loses his job over a lie, another 1,000 men decide peace is non negotiable. This is not a wave, this is a flood. And the water is still rising. In 5 years, the dating market as we know it will not exist in its current form. Marriage rates will be cut in half again. Birth rates will be so low that governments will be offering six-figure bonuses just to have one child, and nobody will take the deal. Entire industries built on male disposable income, wedding venues, jewelry stores, luxury couple vacations will be ghost towns. And the men will be somewhere on a mountain in Colorado, or a beach in Bali, or a ranch in Texas, living better than any married man in history ever dreamed possible. That is not a prediction. That is a promise written in the actions of millions of men who already made the choice and never looked back. The plantation is empty. The masters are screaming at the gates, and the men are on the other side of the river, fishing, laughing, and drinking cold beer, while the sun sets on a world that told them they were not needed. Winter is here, and for the first time in history, the men brought jackets, and we are now in the final stretch, brothers. And this is where the story stops being about Japan or South Korea or even the West and becomes about every single man watching this right now, wherever you are on the planet, whatever your bank account says, whatever your passport looks like. This is about you. Because the truth that nobody in the mainstream will ever say out loud is that every man alive today has a choice that no generation of men before us ever had at this scale. For the first time in human history, an individual man can live a complete, fulfilled, wealthy, healthy, respected, and peaceful life without ever signing a marriage certificate, without ever cohabitating, without ever handing over half his assets, without ever asking permission from a woman or the state to live exactly how he wants. Technology, crypto, remote work, cheap travel, private men's networks, and 50 years of observable female behavior handed men a golden ticket out of the old system. And millions of us have already cashed it. You do not need to be a millionaire to live like one in 2025. You need discipline, a passport, and the willingness to walk away from everything that drains you. A man making $60,000 a year in the United States can move to Thailand, Colombia, Portugal, or Poland and live like he makes 250,000 back home. Rent a penthouse for 600 bucks a month, eat steak every night for $12. Train Muay Thai with world champions for $50 a month. Fly to another country every weekend for less than Americans spend on Netflix and DoorDash. And do it all without a single person on earth having the legal ability to take it away from you. That reality exists right now. Millions of men are living it. Millions more are one decision away from joining them. And the women back home are starting to feel that earthquake. They see the Instagram stories. They see the beach photos with 10 other jack dudes all laughing and drinking out of coconuts. They see the private jets to fight events. They see the construction updates on the off-grid ranch. They see men in their 30s with zero gray hair, zero stress lines, and zero obligations smiling in a way married men stopped smiling 10 years ago. And they know deep down that those men are never coming back to the plantation. You cannot lure a lion back into a cage with promises of free meals when he has already tasted hunting on the open plains. That is why the shaming language no longer works. Call a man a loser for refusing to date single mothers. He laughs and books another flight. Call him immature for not wanting to pay for a woman's debt and drama. He laughs harder and adds another plate to the barbell. Call him afraid of strong women. He posts a video deadlifting 4 plates. It's while his married friend in the background is on the phone arguing about why he came home late from the gym. The shame arrows bounce off because these men have receipts. Their lives are the receipts. Their peace is the receipt. Their bank accounts are the receipt. Their sleep quality is the receipt. And the best part is that this movement has no leader, no headquarters, no manifesto that can be canceled. It is millions of individual men making the same rational decision at the same time based on the same observable data. You cannot arrest an idea whose time has come. You cannot shame a conclusion that was reached after watching 50 years of evidence play out in real time. You cannot debate a man into slavery when he has already tasted freedom. Look around you right now. Every man you know who is calm, wealthy, jacked, well dressed, and single is not single because he cannot get women. He is single because he already did the math and the answer was peace. Every man you know who is stressed, broke, overweight, and married is not married because he won the lottery. He is married because he ignored the warnings and paid the price. The contrast has never been clearer. The decision has never been easier. And governments are starting to panic because they see the tax base walking away. When men stop marrying and stop having children, the entire Ponzi scheme of the modern welfare state collapses in one generation. No more young workers paying into pensions for the old. No more income tax cattle breeding the next herd of cattle. Just a bunch of old people wondering why the hospitals are closing and the power grid is failing, while a 50-year-old retired crypto nomad is somewhere in Dubai smoking a cigar and laughing at the sunset. That future is already written. The only question is which side of history you are going to be on when the books are closed. Because here is the secret nobody wants men to know. The game was never about women, it was always about control. Control of your time, control of your money, control of your future, control of your mind. The moment you remove women from the equation, you remove the control mechanism. That is why they are screaming the loudest right now. Not because they miss men, because they miss the leverage men gave them over society. When men subsidize female choices with their labor, attention, and money, women get to live consequences free. When men stop subsidizing, the consequences arrive all at once, and winter feels colder than anyone ever warned them it would. That is the real red pill. Not hate, not bitterness, not revenge, just simple, cold mathematical indifference backed by action. Men are not punishing women. Men are protecting themselves. And in doing so, they are accidentally dismantling an entire social order that was built on male sacrifice without male reward. This is bigger than dating. This is bigger than marriage. This is the quietest revolution in human history. And it is being fought one deleted dating app, one gym session, one crypto trade, one passport stamp at a time. So if you are still on the fence in 2025, let me make this as clear as it has ever been made. Option A, follow the old script, date up, marry up, buy the ring, sign the papers, hand over half your life before it even starts. Hope she does not change her mind in 10 years. Hope the judge likes you. Hope your kids still talk to you when they are 18. Hope you do not die of a heart attack at 55 from the stress of keeping her happy while paying for a lifestyle you never get to enjoy. Option B, walk away today. Keep your money. Keep your peace. Keep your future. Build your body. Build your wealth. Build your brotherhood. Travel the world. Sleep 8 hours. Eat steak. Lift heavy. Laugh loud. Wake up every single day knowing that nobody on earth can take what you have because nobody on earth has a claim to it. There has never been a clearer choice in the history of mankind. And every single day you delay is another day you voluntarily stay on a sinking ship while the lifeboats are still half empty. The door is open. The other side is beautiful. The men who already crossed are not coming back to save anyone who refused to listen. Your move. What did you think about everything we just covered? Did this hit home? Are you ready to walk, or are you still waiting for permission that will never come? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one. Like the video. If you like it, don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA, men walking away, and cheers.
Nothing says you care like crypto. Nothing can compare. Nothing says you care like crypto. Oh, nothing can compare to crypto.